Okay. The emphasis is I would really want everybody to be able to clearly answer this question. What does it mean? Because that the Rishima Klolos ha'or shlei noga by hatzimtzum. The Rishima is miklolos ha'or shlei noga by hatzimtzum. If that can be explained clearly to our McGill student or our Panyevich in Geman or from Mir, then we're okay. We're on the solid foundation. I'm not going to ask you to explain it. I'm not putting anybody on the spot. I will give a summary explanation of that. Shal is now or later because of, we'll ask everybody to listen to the shir. We should do like that. Make a note, people should listen. Yeah? Maybe ulai, maybe that will help. And people will listen to it. Okay, it's the second line, just as the third line, the second line. Yeah, the different page numbers that you have, but Ois Vav, the second paragraph of Ois Vav extends to the next page. It's right there, the second line. It's all to explain, first of all, what is that line coming to explain? That line is coming to answer what? What does it mean? How is it possible that Edom, the son of Edom, the Malach of Edom, which means Umbasailam, Ilam Hazeh, Golos, the whole kit and caboodle, is where is Oile v'Yoshev Etzli? That's what made Yaakov sorely afraid. When he saw the Malach climbing higher and higher and higher, the Eibusha tells him, Atira of the Yaakov, Mishom ani baridi, I'll bring him down from there. So the Maimon asked, how is it possible? And he made the question very strong, much stronger, by addressing the contradiction in the Psukim, in Mamar Chazal, with respect to, do we affect Lamaila or we don't affect Lamaila? How high, push it the words. What level does a Jew reach? That's the question. A level that he reaches means he affects it. A level that he doesn't reach means he doesn't affect it. So he brought, without repeating the psukim, the Mamar Chazal that on the surface contradict each other. The answer at the end was not a stira. A Jew does not reach and therefore not affect, not mamshich, not draw down, not reach. Soivev kalalmin, mamala kalalmin, this yes. Havaya, soivev, likim mamale, rachas nachasuach lefanai, that arech nechech lavaya, even in Shem Havaya, he affects and is mamshich at tisefes, an additional giloi. However, that's all levels that are shaykh tishtalshalos, as the Maimon explained. That even Seviv Kalalmin is shaykh tishtalshalos. Whereas the psukim, the Mamar Chazal that say, Ma'ich b'sed HaKadosh Baruch Hu, what does Hashem care if you do the mitzvah or don't? It's all for your benefit, for your reward. What level is that speaking about? Tide and ishtalshalos. So that makes our question way stronger. It's very clear that a Yid only reaches, which is a Gewalt also. He's Mamshech Mamala Kalalmin, he's Mamshech Seviv Kalalmin. But Haid and ishtalshalos, Hashem remains unaffected by a Yid's Avodah, which means a Yid does not reach there, and yet there is the Sar of Edom, is Yoshev Etzli. How could this possibly be? The Sar of Edom is there, but a Yid doesn't reach there, l'chayda, through Avodah. So fast forward before we get to the Hasbara, the end's going to be, that's still, when we say that Avodah doesn't reach, that's the Avodah Regila, the regular Avodah, which is a Gevaldik Avodah, b'chol levavcha v'chol nafshech. But Avodah b'chol moedcha, which is Tfilas Oshir, which is not about fulfilling lacks within creation, this a year does affect. That's fast forwarding. But the hasbara, what is the pshat? That the side of Adam is Yoshev Etzeli. So the answer to that was in this second paragraph, Acha Inyan, and essentially in the second line, where he says, Mashenki Darashimbo, Etz Miklola Sa'osh, Lainoga Bayatzimtz. Therein lies the answer. You have to cover your mouth, sorry. Don't say Shinyon, just cover your mouth. We appreciate you here after late night. Okay, so therein lies. I just want to make another comment. This is all Hemshel of the Fabrengen last night. It's very important, making this big effort to come. It's very important to be at the beginning. Because at the beginning of this year, often, as we just did now, we laid out the thorny questions. And it's very subtle and very, very difficult. And there's a lot of Haravanyat to begin to understand what's going on. So it's very helpful to be at the beginning. Well nigh impossible to understand anything if you come in the middle. Which can be made up by listening to the shir later, that's true. But, okay, so no hard feelings. Hemshech to the Fabrengen that I did not attend, but I'm writing on it. We spoke about this, mind you, the union of Pilpul HaTamidim and Dibber Chaverim in the shir that we gave, Shimon Chamayev, right, Dubi, the Pirkei Yovel. That's integral to learning anything. The discussion, the Talmidim, B'chol, and that's not easy. That's why it's called Haskin Asmach, to fix yourself, because the person is not inclined to do that. Leave me alone. Hakol Panim. Hakol Panim, so it's all, again, so the answer to this very difficult question is in the words, as I said at the beginning of this year, that this is your test, our test. You have to be able to explain what that means to the McGill student. And to the Miri Jungerman, the Panyevich Jungerman. Can do that, then we've understood it. If not, okay, so let's try now share it again, the Indian, so that we can understand it. First of all, what is the Rishimu? That's just the geography, the technicality as it's described in Eitz Chaim. Again, very deceptively simple language that is prone to gross misinterpretation, as it has been by Gdolei Yisrael. Understood that Tzimtzum Gipshuta and all kinds of other To'usim. I say To'usim in quotations because in the end, the Rebbe justifies them also. But anyway, at least some of the things. Hakol Panim. So what does it say? The simple language in Eitz Chaim. Someone tell me. How is the whole process? This is the bread and butter. The whole process of creation described. This classic paragraph that reams and myriads and tens of thousands of Mamorim are explaining. What happened? It's a couple of lines, couple of words. In the beginning, it's all filled, yeah, which is, again, it's all fraught with questions, but there is no Mokum Chol. The whole thing is, Kapon, that's the language. And then, he removed his great light to the side. It's almost childish language. He removed his great light, which is why, again, it can be so misinterpreted. Great light, and then what? First of all, this removal, how do we refer to that? Yeah, another word, another big word.
Withdrawn?
Or two words. English, Hebrew, not Hebrew. Two Hebrew words that quoted in Chassidus over and over again. The Tzimtzum edition, or Tzimtzum Agdol, the great Tzimtzum. That's the Siluk. Then as a result of that, again, there's all the ''tchk. There's just a geographical, very simple language. What happens? It's not in the text here. It's not in the text. Then what? Before that, what's left is the rishim. What does rishim mean? What's left of the oir that filled the mokim HaOlah, as it were, is the rishim. What does that mean? Simple, childish language is residue or impression. The better word is not residue. Impression. What's the moshel given? Chassidus, the classic, and this is actually from the Tzemach Tzedek, from Derech Mitzisecha. Gashmis the moshel for Rishimo is what? Not the one that I gave you about the seichel idea. First, the Gashmis the moshel. You write something and then erase
You
it.
erase it. You have it.
Right? And what's left on the parchment is the Rishimo. Very simple Gashmis Dikimos, which could help you as a starting point or completely derail you if you still remain stuck on that physical imagery. But Akaponim, that's what it's boring Chassidus. So it's a starting point to appreciate what Rishimo means. It means the impression is still an impression left by the Eir Ein Sof, even that, despite the fact that it's no longer revealed. Next stage. Next, started saying, then what? Okay, now it's the kav. Kav means, would kav mean something? Line. So what does this mean? You pass me the is there a tissue box or there isn't? Yeah, thank you. Yeah, go ahead.
Line of air that pierces through.
Yeah, there's a line, a projection of light. Let's use the physical language. Projection of light that pierces through it's rooted in the Eir Ein Sof. This is very important, but it goes through the tzimtzum. And what happened? And the purpose of this projection, a beam of light, let's get you more literal, more physical. This beam of light, what's the point of it? It's to illuminate this dark place, this mokim cholam, that's being left, this vacuum. Cholam means a vacuum. The vacuum of where divinity has left, only leaving an impression to now re-illuminate it. But what's the nature of this illumination? Is the Eir Ein Sof now just comes back and fills the mokim cholam? Is that what happens? No, kav. So what does it mean, kav? Define it now. What illumination is happening? Because the divine light now, that's not going to fill this empty space left by the removal of the Eir Ein Sof, is projected through the tzimtzum. The result is it's projected through the tzimtzum. Key, what happens now? This is the key. Start saying, what happens? What's produced? A projection that is tzimtzum defined. Tzimtzum defined means that as it projects lower, it gets more and more, less intense, more contracted, more defined. And that's ishtalshalos, atzilas, bri, yitzir, asiyan, oiris, and kalim, and a whole myriad of levels, which all have definition, all the opposite of the Eir Ein Sof, boundless and definitionless and beyond definition. Now we have what's being produced here, projected by God, is a divine revelation that is graded. The line means higher, lower, creating in the experience of these worlds that are produced, closer, further. Atzilus is close, but he is further, it is further still, etc. So so in summary, the kav is a revelation. Before that was the tzimtzum. It's dark. Only a rishim is left. There's no oil. There's no gilui. Now comes a light. Light is piercing the darkness. Let's start begashmius and then strip it from its gashmistic imagery and try to understand it conceptually. So the light is piercing the darkness. What kind of light now? A graded light of higher and lower, of levels, oiris and kalim, the whole complex system of divinity, a system of divinity, descriptions, spheres, madreges, higher, lower, malachim, agans, universes, parallel universes, one lower than the other. Okay, let's call them worlds. They're called worlds, Eilamas. Yeah, so that's the physical imagery. The tzimtzum, pales, darkness. All that's left of the Ein Sof is this trace, this impression. The Kav reintroduces Gilui in the place of darkness. But what's the nature of the Gilui? Many levels and levels, till Leila Masa, till the bottom. Higher up the ladder, tremendous Gilui, lower, less. Sure. Says the Maimer, astonishingly, Eden, now this is till B'chol Ma'itcha. What they're going to say now is till Tfilas Asher. Tfilas Asher is, we'll see the whole different Avodah. But till Tfilas Asher, the classic Avodah of Tfilah, B'chol Levavcha, B'chol Nafshecha. It doesn't even say B'chol Ma'itcha in the second parsha of the Shema. Right? It's not there. B'chol Levavcha, B'chol Nafshecha. So we see even Pasha the Psukim. That there is an avodah, you're listening, and you're a good boy, but it's b'chol levavcha b'chol nafshech. It's not missing. There is an avodah, a perfect avodah, relatively speaking, that is not b'chol ma'itcha. That's tfilas oni. That's avodah of David HaMelech. We'll see I'm fast forwarding and going back and forth. Then there's the avodah of Moishe Rabbeinu, the Nosi, tfilas Ashir, and that we'll see at the end. That's the tachlis. Emes said that avodah only really emerges at the end of Golus. Which is now. Let's go back. So the Kav is pale Gilui. That's what the point is. The Kav is Gilui, and the Tzimtzum made darkness. And in the darkness, all that's left is Rishim. This is the classic definition of the Yid. Chelek Havaya. He's connected to Shem Havaya. What's Shem Havaya here? This is the Kav. Rooted in the Ein Sof Taka, but affected by the Tzimtzum, Yud, K, Vav, K. Now comes the big shocking statement. HaOlah, Shem Elikim. So far makes sense. That's Shem Elikim is Helim and Tzimtzum and Teva, yeah? But then, look at the middle of the paragraph there, by the number 69 in the brackets, Achlei Mishem Elikim Atzmech Chas V'Shalom. Kim Yatzaruf from the Shem Elikim. Supposedly he says, not Shem Elikim Mamish. That's Malakom, it's Gilul Levikus. But Shem Elikim, as it goes through further Tzimtzumim, which are called Tzirufim, here comes the big, shocking statement. Sheshorshei Me'areshimu Umus HaOlah. Gewaltig geschrieben. Their source is the Rishimu Shehu Maya Oish Lei Noga Bayatzimtzum. Again, those cryptic words. And that's what we need to understand. What does it mean? It's not what's the pirush here? And herein lies the whole Nakudah. Do we understand what we need to understand? Yeah. Because so far everything was fine. If you tell me Rishima is negative and darkness, it seems to cause darkness. Now comes the Kav, and it illuminates the darkness, and it's a very simple model. Hashem removed his light, pitch black, spiritually. Now he's projecting a light, and the light is a graded light. The higher levels is more intense. As you go down, less intense. And the empty space is now filled with light, but now a graded light. Okay, that's pretty logical. But now comes this paradox that when you removed the agdol and the Rishimah that's left, but this is all dark, in that Rishimah, lo noga bayatzimtzum. What does this mean? What does it mean? And that's what Umas HaOlah are rooted. That's Yoshev Etzli. What's going to bring it down? But that's no tachlis, is b'chol mo'itcha tfilas osher. Okay, all good, but what does this mean? That there is shimbal and nogabet. So we explained, we're trying to explain it again now, but guys, the test, you have to go out there, meet someone, explain it, stop someone on the street, say, at least I got to explain something to you. I got to tell you something. I got news for you. And you explain it to them, and understand it. Good. Yeah, we can sit down and verbring. I mean, this is our version of Zalman Moshe's story with the little Motel Dubinsky. So again, you have to hear it from him. You have the kids say it. You have to explain to someone else. They understand it, then you get it. Then it means you got it. I'll call upon him. So let's try and explain it as clearly with God's help as we can. Simple. Let's back up a little bit. What is the whole quote unquote motivation for creation? Why is there a creation? Don't say just like everything. Why is the whole thing? When I say why, I mean like I say what's the reason? I don't mean reason in the classic sense, because reason implies to gain this. If I don't get it, I am missing. Hashem doesn't operate on reason. It's really a b'chira chavshus. God chose. But what did he choose? What does he want? What's the kavanah? I don't want to digress now, but dir b'tachtonim is not saying why God created the world. It's saying what he created it for. But why do you need dir b'tachtonim? There's no answer to that. It's not why, it's what do you want? Now that I explain what you want, there we have 1,000,000 questions. Why? How does this fit in? How does this fit in? And there's answers. It's all will carry out dir b'tachtonim. But why should there be dir b'tachtonim? Fundamentally, there's no answer to that. Maybe she chose. Like, why does God exist? There's no answer to that. God is because he is. There's no answer to why God exists. There's no answer to why God decided he wants a dir b'tachtonim. So it's not why, it's what. But again, once we have the what, then the why is legitimate. Why do you do this? What's this? How does it all fit into your kavanah? Now we have answers. Clear? Okay, that's now back to our subject. So what do we say? What's the whole kavanah is that God decided he wants a dir b'tachtonim. He wants to make a creation. That's a big, huge thing. It's going to create, and not some create, it's going to create a tachten. And in the tachten, his essence is going to be revealed by you and I. To fine-tune that kavanah, without going into too much right now, but it really is important is, it's not really the tachten that he wants. Let's really back up and rephrase that. The real tachlis is, the HaOlah gives rise to Neshamas Yisrael, which are a part of him, whatever that means. That's virtually inexplicable. Part of him, they're not a creation. And this part of him should be sent down into a tachten. And this part of him, you and I, Neshama, is going to make this tachten a dira where he can reveal his essence with this Neshama down here. They should be one down here. And the whole tachten should reflect, the whole world should sparkle and reflect their union. That means the whole world becomes a home. Like a home reflects the soulmates that live there. That's what a home is. Every detail, it says you, it says your wife, your children. It's not just a faucet, a door, a window, a carpet. It's what the detail, it says you. That's the kavanah. Okay, in the word dir b'tachtonim. So dir b'tachtonim means there has to be an alien, otherwise there's no tachten. There's no lower, there's no higher. Right? And that's what God wants. Therefore, when the Eibishter first gave rise to tachten, where's the first tachten? The source of this idea of lower, of less, is the tzimtzum. First, the Eibishter gives rise to what? Gilui, revelation. That's alien. That's not the tachlis. He wants tachten. Now, in that revelation, in that original Koyach Ein Sof that God revealed, the Koyach HaGvul is there, but doesn't emerge yet, because if it emerges right away, it doesn't have a tacht. You want to have first, second, higher, lower. So the Koyach HaGvul is not expressed. They're both equal expressions of him, Bli Gvul and Gvul. Revelation, concealment, it's all him, but he wants to create a state of concealment where in the world of us, concealment, we're distant and far, and again, there to reveal his essence. So therefore, it necessitates, because this is his choice, a system of higher and lower. The system of higher and lower begins with first Gilui, then Tzimtzum. First Koyach HaBli Gvul, and then Gvul. That's right there's the template of higher and lower, closer, further, in Indian.
Wouldn't the concept of like this illusion of the absence of Hashem, like by creating the darkness, be the first kind of tafton that he would have to? Like,
that's exactly what I just said. That's exactly what we just said.
Okay.
First is the Gilui, and then comes the Tzimtzum. Second, which is Gvul, and limitation, and lower. It's exactly what we're saying. B'diuk. However, here hit the nail on the head. What does it mean? So back up. So the result of the tzimtzum is darkness, yeah? What's left? A reshimu. What does this mean? Now let's try and really articulate it. And that's reshimu le'nagabaya tzimtzum. That means is, what's left after the tzimtzum, there is the understanding, the appreciation, the truth, the rotzen, the will of God is not lost there. That you know why there is a reshimu, a tzimtzum. It's all you, because you want to do it b'tachtonim. To make it clearer, tzimtzum per se creates distance. Atzilus feels closer, Bria feels further, Yitzira feels further, Asiya further still, Elam Hazah, we feel nothing. Remember this cloud, that the union of tzimtzum creates in the perception of the recipient. It's not kipshuto, for God not, but for us, yes. Tzimtzum for us creates the whole thing of closer and further. Correct? But the tzimtzum, the original tzimtzum that produced the Rishima, it doesn't feel further. The Rishima doesn't feel further. What is the Rishima saying? We could ask, speak. What? Well, what's going on here? What's going on here? It's going here, the kavanah of the Eibishter, he wants to did it b'tachtonim, and that's why I'm here. That's why this is happening. That's why there was a tzimtzum. That's why there's Leinoga b'ya tzimtzum means that in the world of the Rishima, there's no sense of distance. This is all what's begoloi there is the kavanah, halyoina, and gvul and bli gvul. It's all him, avayu, all him, and he wants to have a dirib tachtonim. And then there's going to be a kav. It's going to create in our perception, boom, a whole ladder of divinity and a whole sense of distance. So again, we'll try and say it again. It means, Pashut, that God's will and desire as to, make it even simpler. The Eibishter's will and desire for Direh B'tachtonim is transparent at those primary levels which began the whole process of creation. First there was Gilui and there was Simsa. But at that level, the Rishima, it doesn't make closer further. What's being articulated there is God says, it's all me. Infinite, finite, equally me. Equally me. That's what it means. It's all equally me. But that's going to produce in the experience of the created beings, not me. They're going to not feel me. They're not going to feel that in gvul and concealment is all me. They're going to feel distant and further. That's the kav. The kav, which is is revealing, but it's going to reveal in such a way that there's higher and closer. That's noga b'yatzimtzum. That's my kavana. And the end will be a yidla walking around Leilam Hazard feels nothing. And through his avoid is going to reveal everything. So in all the words that we're saying, Maybe it's better back to me. So what does it mean? You can say it just in a few words. And then we have to continue, obviously wrap it up. And that's where HaOlah, Tacht, and Golus is all rooted, because that's what God's desire is. Tachtonim means Golus, HaOlah, Edom, everything. But there, is, it's not far. That's all this kavanah, and that's what is going to be revealed in the deepest way. So Edom is there, but they're a chutzpah, because that's pre-bitter. You're only there because I want to do it b'tachtonim, which we'll find out. Okay, but that's further nuance tomorrow. But let's just come back and someone tell me, guys on the here physically or here digitally, go see here. What does it mean that there is shimle nogabay tzimtzum? I mean, even once in one sentence, 2 sentences, 3. What would you say? Adam, put you on the spot.
They see the real kavanah, unfiltered.
Right, and that kavanah is what? Is dafke in
Tachten.
In Helem and Tzimtzum. It's taka Helem, as it were, but they know by a Tzimtzum, it's all
they see the reason for the Tzimtzum.
Yeah, and more than they see that the Tzimtzum, Helem, Koich HaGvul, is just as much God as Bligvul, no less.
To a certain extent, even more, because that's what brings out the playing field. The playing field for us to do what we have to do.
Right, because the kavanah isn't the tachten, it's even deeper. Because this now touches be'emes, because they're all equal. The kavanah could have easily just been the alien. It's all equal. But he wants the tachten. So in that way, like you said, in a certain sense, even deeper, because there is the kavanah. Okay, someone else wants to say? Shkoyach, maybe in your own words. Notwithstanding the fact that it's darkness, tzimtzum addition, there's drastic tzimtzum. There's no kav even. This is before the kav is nimshich. There's no illumination. There's no beam of light. Tell him it's a tzchoshech. It's absolute contradiction. What's meant this? So, what are you telling me? Because there is experience, Havayu Olikim, Gvul, Blikvul, it's all you. Why is there a Gvul? Because you want to do it with Achtoinim. It's all you. And that's our tachlis, to reveal that truth that the Rishima knows, to reveal that, or it's expressed in the Rishima, to reveal that Lamata. That's only Bekoich HaAtzmos. Chibur of Gvul and Blikvul. Full revelation in Tacht, in absolute Tacht. Okay, we'll continue tomorrow.